and welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Laura Fawks Lapole.
And I'm Katie Holloway, and today is a special episode because not only is it the final episode for Season 1, but it's also Earth Day! Woo! Alright, so a little bittersweet, but we really have so much planned for Season 2 and moving forward, so we're going to take a month off, kind of, and we'll be back in June with the actual structured seasons.
Yeah.
But this gives us a little bit of time to plan some exciting things that we really want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And we won't be completely gone. We'll probably throw out some special edition episodes. And we'll be active on social media, of course. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, please do so at FTLON Podcast.
Footlon. That's never...
It'll never get old.
I can't unsee it. Once I've seen it, I can't get it out of my head. But I do know that one special episode that I want to do in the downtime is, like, as boring as it kind of sounds, go over sort of all, like, the businessy stuff that we have going on. Because we really are, like, planning all of this out. We don't just... haphazardly do things as much as it seems sometimes.
We're fun, but we also have structure.
Yeah, so we kind of want to go through some ideas that we're having with people, or that we've come up to go over with you, just to get some feedback. So it's not going to be boring, but we do have some really big announcements that we'll probably plan for like a season break episode, just because I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah. It probably won't be a very long one, but it'll be nice to, go over a couple of things during the break.
Yeah, for sure. Two things I did want to go over is my earthing experience.
How's it going?
So I'm not quite done with it, but okay, I will say it's supposed to reduce your let me give some background for those if you missed the episode or if you don't follow us on Instagram yet, and you should.
Lame.
Lame-o. So I have been trying this earthing technique. So we started doing kind of like a mini Mythbusters of nature, I guess, things. And so earthing is the concept of spending at least of just being barefoot outside because it quote unquote grounds you. Since the earth is made up of mostly negative electrons, we're a conductor. And so you just go outside and it helps to balance your body. So as crazy as that sounds.
Right. Because it definitely sounds kind of hokey, but there is some science behind it.
There is. And the more you read about it, you're like, okay, that makes sense. But that's also how conspiracy theories start.
Totally. Yeah.
Where you're like, that kind of makes sense. And then
at least though earthing is like a pretty minor conspiracy theory. Harmless, I would say.
Just a bunch of people walking around barefoot. I wish that was like our biggest problem in society right now. Just too many people walking around barefoot. And so that's the principle. So I tried it for 30 days. I'm almost at the end. I did miss a few days in a row because I had a migraine, and which maybe would have helped, but yeah. So the biggest benefit of it is supposed to be like anti-inflammatory. It's supposed to get your system all back in check. I will say I haven't felt any of that, but in a weird way, it's addicting. Like,
I just love the feel of dirt. Listen, man, Princess Dirty Toes.
Yeah, right. Your namesake, Princess Dirty Toes.
Yeah, well, get out. You're just gonna turn into one too.
It's okay. So it's weird. Like, and I can't put my finger on it because if you saw my video on YouTube, I was dodging dog landmines like left and right in our backyard. So it's not like I prefer to be barefoot in my dog poop filled backyard. Okay, it's not that bad, but still, you have to watch for it. I don't know. It's like one of those things where whenever the 30 minutes is up, I tend to find excuses to make it go longer. It's cool. It's really bizarre. I don't know what it is. I'm definitely going to keep doing it just because, I don't know. Again, try it. Just everybody try it.
I wonder if it's a sensory thing. Like
I don't know.
Or like a sense of, like if it's more like emotional, like a sense of well-being.
Yeah, it's how we used to walk, like humans used to, and now we have, shoes, which what's a foot doctor? Podiatry, I think. Is that a foot doctor? Yeah,
A
podiatrist.
podiatrist. Yeah.
And so a lot of them agree that our shoes today are not meant for our feet. You know, like our feet were never meant to be put in
they're not the
shoes.
most supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not for our natural feet and how they should be. And so, I mean, there is a lot to it that it's just a natural thing. I don't know. Folks, give it a try. And don't just do it for like a little while. Do it for at least 30 minutes. And it's grass, dirt, whatever. I mean, I have a nice big backyard, so we just did it there. But I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts. I'll probably keep doing some stuff on Instagram about it. But it was bizarrely satisfying. I don't know. It was weird. It's really, really hard to describe because it's not like, okay, here's a good analogy that Laura, I know you'll understand. So, you know, whenever you are superly craving ice cream, which I know you always crave ice cream.
Yeah.
So you have a bowl. Let's just say you have 2 scoops and you eat that and you're like, I just need more. Like you're...
That's everything, every time I eat anything almost.
Yeah, it's just not quite enough. Like, not quite enough. And that's what it always felt like, was just not quite enough. So I'll probably finish some stuff on Instagram, but overall, that's been the earthing experience. I didn't really feel any long-term, medical big epiphany stuff, but other than, I don't know, it's just something, there's just something about it. And I would have to say that so far, maybe medically I haven't seen anything, but yeah, there's just something to it. So give it a try and let us know.
I think if I did it regularly, it would be a lot of things. It would be like nostalgia. Mm-hmm. And then the
Princess
sensory...
Doritos.
Yeah. And then the sensoriness of it, I do love the feeling of like cool.
Good grass.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool grass or like cool dirt, pine needles.
Yeah.
Like soft pine needles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as a caution though to everybody, make sure you're walking where A, you're allowed to walk, and B, in a like relatively clean place.
Yeah, no dirty needles.
Yeah.
Don't walk barefoot down a side alley anywhere.
Seriously.
Yeah. No, it has to be on the earth. The actual
no
earth.
concrete, no asphalt.
Yeah. True earth. There's definitely something about it. The other thing that I had to bring up was koalas. All right, so I found out this amazing koala fact. And so since we did the How Are You Still Alive episode recently...
Is it better than the grenade tree? Because that's the best thing I've ever learned.
Okay, yes. I think this might top the grenade tree. Did you know that koala fingerprints are so similar to human fingerprints that for a good while, police in Australia thought that it was people committing these small crimes, but it was actually koalas.
I knew that their fingerprints were similar, but I didn't know it had been taken that far.
That was that serious. I also think it's really cute that, like, some koala, I just imagine, like, wanders into a house to, like, grab a little snack.
Right. I'm wondering, what are the crimes? What are the crimes that they're committing?
That's what I would assume.
Petty jewelry theft? Like, what are they doing?
Diamond heist. Where's the koalas? Round up all the koalas.
I guess, yeah, burglar. I guess it would have to be like burglary or B&E.
Like a home break-in.
Koala B&E.
Joshua! Our last picture for the season. Koala B&E.
Bam! Yeah.
With a little, like, bandit mascot,
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, so I saw that and I was like, man, how did we not come across that whenever we were finding?
Isn't there... Okay, I know that there is an animated film where there's, like, a boss koala, like, in a suit.
Wait, you mean Sing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. But like a mobster.
Like a
koala.
mobster koala.
Yeah.
Home B&Es. Jewelry theft. Heist. Not a theft, a heist. Way cooler. So I had to bring those 2 points up, at least the koala fingerprint thing, because I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah. All right, so back to today. It's Earth Day!
Yay!
In case you forgot. So this really is like nature, sustainable nerd Christmas today. Like,
I love that analogy.
It's such a big day, because for one day, everybody cares about the planet. Like, it doesn't matter. People post about it. I mean, it's just really fun because everybody really gets into it.
Yeah.
And so Laura and I, we actually worked together on this episode because as much as we do enjoy making fun of seagulls and the lack of intelligence that pandas have, we do really love the world around us and find it fascinating. And you know, the point of the podcast is to spread that passion, and hopefully everyone that's listening walks away loving nature a little bit more than they did the day before.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into the episode proper, we wanted to give a few shout outs to some of our younger avid listeners.
Shout outs!
Thanks to Ace, Ellie, and Nora for tuning in. Keep listening, and you're going to change the world one day. I know it.
Aw, that was so nice. I wish Steve Irwin said something like that to me when I was a kid.
literally thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I wish I had somebody.
I would have crapped my pants.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like, how many times do you call into the radio and request a song?
I've never done that.
I did that a couple times as a kid, literally just the hopes that, one, I would be special enough to be chosen to play my song, and then two, that my voice might be on the radio.
See, I was never that into music. Like, my sister liked NSYNC and all that, and I just never really got into it.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how excited little Laura was to call into a radio show.
Yeah, it wasn't really about the music as much as like the...
Hearing your name.
Yeah, the fame.
Well, Ace, Ellie, and Nora, now you hear your name. Keep listening and give us your feedback. Have your parents go onto our social media and give us your feedback of the episodes. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about how we are all able to do our part in restoring the earth. So this year's theme, every year Earth Day kind of has a theme. This year it's Restore Our Earth. So we wanted to kind of talk about how we can all do our part to do that. Earth Day pushes 3 primary ways to have an impact: through civic action, community action, and individual action. We're mostly going to talk about community action because, you know, the more the merrier, everybody get involved. But there's lots of other things you can do beyond, of course, what we're just going to mention in this episode.
Definitely. And I think, what was the website? Do you remember what the website is? Let me check.
For Earth Day?
Yeah, I think it is earthday.org. Well, there you have it, folks.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they've got tons of stuff on there. We were just going to touch on a couple of things.
Yeah,
so what
just
I wanted
highlights.
What I wanted to touch on is citizen science, which is a love of mine. I love participating in citizen science projects. I like talking about them. I like getting people involved in them. I love everything about it. So you might be wondering, well, what the heck is citizen science? According to citizenscience.gov, in citizen science, the public participates voluntarily in the scientific process, addressing real-world problems in ways that may include formulating research questions, conducting scientific experiments, collecting and analyzing data, interpreting results, making new discoveries, developing technologies and applications, and solving complex problems. So lots of different things.
Yeah.
Basically everyday people helping to collect and interpret scientific data.
Yeah, which is really, really cool because they even have like vacations around citizen science projects where you can go and help and contribute.
Yeah,
so
or like as a side thing, I've actually, for grad school, that's what my final project for this semester is focusing on citizen science and does it actually educate people? But one of the papers I was reading was talking about in the Red Sea, people would go on vacation there to go snorkeling and diving. Mm-hmm. And so why not participate in citizen science while you're doing it?
Heck yeah. Contribute. I mean, that's kind of the best way is, you know, whenever you're a little bit of downtime, finding something you're passionate about. And I promise you there's probably some research going on about it. Because if you listen to one of our early episodes about the crazy animal research, science basically researches anything regardless of how ridiculous it is. So
Absolutely.
So if you're passionate about something, I'm sure you can find there's all kinds of citizen science projects.
That's what I was just about to say. So the best part of citizen science is that it's for everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Absolutely.
Because there is a huge diversity of topics. If you're interested in some natural science topic, there is definitely going to be, I can almost guarantee there's a citizen science project about it. So, like if you have a specific species, there's ones on types of animals, biodiversity, phenology, which is kind of like over time changes, weather, climate change, air quality, zoonotic diseases, and tons more. So
Frog Watch, Laura's favorite.
I do like Frog Watch. So there's like, you name it, you can get interested in it. There's also, various levels of involvement. Some projects require very little commitment and maybe as simple as snapping like a picture and logging it into an app. My favorite type of citizen science. Others
Are you going to talk about the app too?
Yeah, okay, for sure. Others may require a few minutes per week to a few hours per week. It's entirely up to you. So like, I know Project Feeder Watch, you have to spend, I think, 30 minutes watching a bird feeder. There are other ones where you just go out a couple times a week for 5 minutes. It really just depends on how much time you want to devote to it. Because really what you're getting from it is a good feeling. Like, yes, citizen science will educate you. You will learn something for sure.
Oh, definitely.
There's definitely a social aspect to it of meeting, like-minded individuals. But it's also just that like, I'm doing something that's going to help somebody or help this part of nature. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah, and I promise you, after leading nature, like citizen science projects, being a part of that world, you meet the most interesting people
Yes,
that you
absolutely
have ever imagined.
Yeah.
So if anything, if you are just kind of just want to get and do something social, like Laura said, and having an impact instead of just like, I don't know, going out for drinks or something, this is an awesome way to do it. It really is.
Yeah. I would totally take someone on a date to do iNaturalist.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I do now with my husband, but I'm like, hold, please. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. The other thing that makes it really accessible for everyone is that it's made for all backgrounds. So it's accessible to all ages, from like toddler to senior citizens. All cultures are involved. Any kind of ability or background that you have, there is a way to participate in citizen science. Some are active, some are sedentary. Really, it's for everyone.
It's so diverse. It's so diverse.
And it's a great way to spend time with your loved ones and a fantastic way to meet other like-minded individuals or even network. If you're thinking about like, I'd like to get into a field like this. Citizen science, volunteering, of course, is one of the easiest ways to get involved and network.
And build your resume.
For sure. People definitely want to know you want to do things for free. And then maybe they'll think about paying you.
You're right. Right? How do you think we got the jobs we did today? First, we did free labor.
Free labor. Okay. And then lastly, they range from global projects to local projects and everything in between. So some might be international projects and some just might be only in your community. But this all comes with a warning, because once you get involved with a citizen science project, you are very likely to desire more and you might join in other projects.
Most likely.
Or spend an absurd amount of time on one of them.
Yeah. Because you get, it becomes, you're a part of it.
I am addicted.
Yeah,
definitely
you're
a couple of my.
Like, you're a part of it. You're collecting this. It's fun.
Yeah. I like the learning. Like, I love learning and identifying things. And then, it's just great. Okay. So we're just talking on and on and on about how we love it. But why? Why does citizen science, why is it important? It's effective in a ton of different ways. So there's the environmental outcomes of citizen science. So this seems like the most obvious outcome to most people. So many projects help in direct conservation work, while others focus on data that can be applied to policy making, resource management decisions. So like direct impact could be something like invasive plant removal. Data collected would be something like Frog Watch, where, they're tracking frog populations based on the data that people collect. So those are like environmental outcomes. There's also the cognitive outcomes, which I was saying I'm doing a little research on for grad school. And what I found is, yes, citizen science definitely does increase knowledge and awareness of a topic. So if you would like to learn more, or you just like learning, citizen science will impart some of that. And another great part of that is, if you want to get your kids or anything involved, they'll learn and they'll be active and involved in something. Yeah.
Especially like grandparents and kids. I know whenever we were at the zoo together, how many of those classes that we did where it would be like a grandparent bringing a grandchild.
Yeah.
Like, because that is really fun because it's structure, especially for little kids. Most of the stuff is fairly structured, which kids thrive under.
Right, so there's like protocols. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's structure, but they get to learn something, but it's still really fun because some of these things that like you get to get dirty head to toe, and that's part of the experience. And
right.
So it's really fun for kids and multi-generations to come together for sure.
Yeah. There's behavioral outcomes. So some projects, there isn't a ton of research on it yet, but it seems and is likely that participating in citizen science may lead to permanent behavior change for people.
Which makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're connecting to it, Right.
You're starting to care. And if you care, then you're probably going to change your lifestyle. So again, another warning, you might start to care more and it might change your life.
What is this pain I feel in my chest? It's my heart growing.
Feel all funny.
Yeah.
And then lastly, there are social outcomes, as we've been talking about, but besides just like networking things, it allows collaboration, which is something that's so important in science and is so often missed.
Yeah.
A lot of times you think of scientific research, and it's like a couple of people doing something in a lab, maybe out in the field, but collaboration with peoples of all backgrounds and cultures and ages and everything, all contributing to one thing, makes the data so much more complex.
Yes.
It really enhances the science because then you can make other conclusions too, besides just like, okay, here's what like 3 people found.
Yeah.
But yeah. And scientists can't have their eyes everywhere at once. And that's where they rely on us. Honestly, many people get involved because they want to help and do their part to make the world a better place. And it does. In a lot of different ways. So how can you get involved? Because that's what we're talking about today. I wanted to highlight 2 different projects. Although, like I said, there's like a gazillion others, and we'll put a link. There are 2 websites that I found that have tons of citizen science. They're almost like citizen science libraries.
Oh, cool.
It takes you to other projects. But the 2 that I wanted to highlight today, the first one is on earthday.org. They're highlighting it. It's called the Global Earth Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So most citizen science now, or a lot of citizen science now, is partnering with technology. So a lot of citizen science is as simple as an app. So it's convenient. I suppose there is some accessibility issues there, but if you do have, a smartphone of any type, you can download the app, which I can put a link into.
It's a free app, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the Earth Challenge, it's helping to monitor multiple threats around the globe. So I believe that there are kind of like 6 different projects involved that are measuring different things, but it's a global collaboration of data. So you can join that by downloading the app, or you can just, if you want to find out more information first, you can go to earthchallenge2020.earthday.org, and that will give you more information about it. I couldn't find out a ton about like who created it and things like that.
Yeah, the history behind it.
So many people are getting involved. Like some of the numbers that they were saying, a lot of people are coming together to contribute data from all over the globe.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's like a global one if you want to get involved in something giant. If you want to get involved in something that's, okay, it's still international, but on a much smaller scale, I think. And this is probably the citizen science that's nearest and dearest to my heart. Coming up at the end of this month is the City Nature Challenge. And so the City Nature Challenge is like a bio blitz. So for anyone who's not familiar with that,
yes,
you just run outside and you record as many species as you can. So it's like a giant nature scavenger hunt. I don't know what could be more perfect than that.
In competition.
Right. And so the cities around the globe are competing to see who's got the most biodiversity or the widest number of different species. And it's a great way for, one, it's so fun to be involved in because you're just running around outside. You run into other people who are also trying to snap pictures of stuff. It's a lot like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go, yeah.
But for nature.
Yes.
And then it's great for scientists because it's like a massive input of data on the biodiversity in the area. And so many different uses can be made from that. Like you can look at it in total, a mycologist or a person that studies fungi can only look at the fungi people found. Mm-hmm. And it's all utilizing the app iNaturalist. If you don't have it, I want you to stop what you're doing and download it right now.
Right now. iNaturalist. It's amazing. You won't regret it. We promise we just ruined your lives. Because that's all you're going to want to do.
Ways.
Yes.
it really, it's a free app. And essentially, it identifies things for you, and it keeps a list of everything you've ever taken a picture of and identified, and then you can identify other people's pictures. So it's crowdsourcing identification. Mm-hmm. And there are people on there that really are legit know their stuff. It is ridiculous. Yeah.
The pictures that I've taken, especially of insects that people get into not arguments, but very scientific discussions.
Of
why they think it's one thing versus another.
I had 2 pictures of the same bug, and they were like, no, that's actually 2 species. Can you please separate the pictures?
Yeah, right.
And so there are projects that you can be involved in on iNaturalist, and scientists are specifically looking for certain things. Like I belong to a moth project and a fungi project. There are local ones, but the City Nature Challenge, I believe, if you join iNaturalist and do it during that time, it automatically finds the city nearest to you.
I think so. I think it does.
Yeah, I'm almost positive. And then so I literally cannot go for a walk anymore without taking pictures, which is really annoying to some people. But I'm like, hold on, Justin, my husband, I gotta take a picture real quick. So I'm just gonna snap a picture real quick.
1 second. Yeah.
Because I never knew how much I needed to know what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't surprise me, though, because my entire life was spent on nature walks with, my mom and aunts, and we would stop every, 10 feet and identify
You're
the
very
flower.
good at identifying things.
Yeah. So looking at what type of flower are we looking at? What type of bird? And so this is taking it to the whole next level because I don't need to carry around a guidebook anymore.
Yeah.
This is just instant gratification, or maybe I have to wait a day.
Yeah, at the most. Normally, and you can see, too, where other people, so let's say if you're going for a hike somewhere, you're going to a state park, you can go to the map, you can zoom in and see what other people are seeing it and where they have found it. So that way you can kind of see what species have been there. My southern nemesis, the painted bunting, that I've lived in the South. Let's see, in painted bunting territory for 8.5 years, I have yet to see a freaking painted bunting. And if you don't know what it is, it's a bird. Just Google it. It is like a rainbow smacked a bird upside the face. It is amazing bird. And I've yet to freaking see a male in the wild. And I'm so angry. But every year, I get to see people's pictures of where they've seen one.
Because I did.
I hate you. Yeah, and you live in the freaking
mine is
north.
A freak. Yeah. I saw painted bunting this year, which was absurd because it was in Maryland and it was way too far north for it to be at that time of year.
And I live here, and I've yet to stupid painted bunting. One of these years, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
But it is really cool because you do get to see, like I said, before you go somewhere, you can kind of check it out on a map and be see really active places. And if some place isn't very active, I mean, you can kind of I don't know. I don't want to say claim to fame, but you can claim it as your own.
Yeah, and you'll start getting your identification will start to get better and better and better.
For sure.
I took tons of pictures of insects this past summer, and can I identify certain species? No. but I can now probably lump them into groups. Like, oh, that's probably a type of assassin bug, or that's probably a type of, so I'm getting better at some things. My goal is the insects and like plants. That's usually what I'm using it for.
Yeah.
Or the fungi.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Alrighty.
So those are the two projects that I definitely think you should get involved in. Like I said, there'll be links to more. eBird is another one that I'm straight up addicted to.
Yep.
So many projects, so much to do, and you can make the world a better place by joining in with them.
Absolutely. iNaturalist. Download it now. We will pause for a moment now. I'm teasing. But seriously, while you're listening to this, swipe up on your iPhone or whatever you have to do you can pause us, just get rid of us, and then hurry up and go download it and come back to the episode.
We were actually talking about this with our manager, Kim, like in the past couple months, and we found out she didn't know what iNaturalist was, and we're like, what? You need to download it right freaking now.
Yeah, do it right now. You're going to love it.
And yep, now she's doing it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So Laura covered citizen science, and I'm going to talk about another way you and your community can take positive action. And that's by planting a forest with the Canopy Project.
Ooh.
So I'm sure by now you all know my love and deepest respect for trees, and in particular forest canopies, because who doesn't love a good canopy, right? You're supposed to say right, Laura.
I mean, yeah, I loved a good canopy. I just feel like that is such a weird sentence for most people.
Who doesn't love a good canopy? I love a good canopy. Shade, awesome to climb in. It's a great canopy.
I spent my childhood in the canopy, so
right?
I'm with you. It's just I'm not sure everyone else is knowing what you're talking about.
Go explore a canopy, and I pray you'll be on board. All right, so since the beginning of the 20th century, the world's forests have lost about 20% of their coverage, which I'm honestly surprised it's that low. Like, I was expecting a much higher number, which it's still a horrible figure. But according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, about 7.3 million hectares, which is about 18 million acres, of forest are lost every year, and roughly half of the Earth's tropical rainforests or tropical forests have already been cleared. Ugh. Yeah, right? So on that heartbreaker, that's where you and the Earth Day Project, the Canopy Project, can help with. So what is the Canopy Project? The Canopy Project improves our shared environment by planting trees across the globe. Since 2010, earthday.org, which is where all this is coming from, they've planted tens of millions of trees with the Canopy Project, working worldwide to strengthen communities, which is pretty darn cool. And this strength can come in a variety of ways. So if you visit earthday.org and navigate your way to the Canopy Project section under Take Action, they have a super handy map which shows you where these projects have taken place. And they range from like very rural sub-Saharan Africa to cities right in your own backyard. The Canopy Project works to restore, which is the theme, what was once lost forest into basically oasis. And sometimes that oasis is seen in the eyes of the beholder. Like here in the United States, they've done several urban forest projects. And what a lot of people don't...
important.
It is so very important because of just having trees in the cities. And I am all for green urban environment, like development. Yeah. I love it. Because without the green features, a lot of times the heat in the cities can rise like so unbelievably high.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're, just walking on and surrounded by asphalt, that gets really hot, radiates the heat back. But by having the adequate tree cover within cities, Canopy Project has been able to show that they can reduce temperatures by 19 degrees in one city.
Holy cannoli.
Which is crazy to think.
That's a big temperature difference. So think about like the savings if you lived in an apartment in the city on your air conditioning. And then not even just heating, but like the importance of having like little oases or islands for certain animals to hop. Like,
absolutely.
It's like a biodiversity island that you've created.
Absolutely. For birds, because you figure like I'm in Texas and we have horrible light pollution here, but we're also in a migratory path. And so birds navigate towards, like, they're drawn towards cities because of the bright lights. And so they kind of get thrown off a little bit, but by having, even in urban, I mean, it helps with the decreasing of the temperature, but then like Laura said, it's kind of like can be like a stopping point. I mean, it's just good.
Just a place to, like a gas station, get recharged, get a meal, get a water.
Yeah. So, but what's cool is that this group doesn't just plant like ordinary old trees. They often plant trees that will be beneficial to that area.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I know that somebody was going to bring up like,
Bradford
are we
pear.
planting not natives? Yeah, oh, right. Bradford pears.
Yeah, right. So they plant trees that will produce fruits or nuts or other materials for use dependent upon the trees that are planted. You know, not just in the cities, but because remember, this is a worldwide project.
Right.
So it can be in Africa. I mean, it would literally, if you go check out that map, it's pretty cool. And you can click on the different pins. And then you can kind of see, and they give you like a little bio for each project. It's pretty neat. But by planting the quote unquote useful trees, I guess we'll call them, because I mean, to me, all trees are useful, but you know.
But like not only like beneficial to humans, wildlife, and being native would be such a big benefit.
And because it is beneficial, people are more likely to take care of it, so it's going to reach maturity. Yeah. Whereas if it's just, you know, a tree for the sake of a tree, typically people aren't going to be as interested in it as if it provides something for them.
Yeah.
What's
the way
also
that
really,
it is.
Right? And so what's also really cool is they also mostly hire local nurseries and individuals. So they'll hire local nurseries to purchase the trees from, and then they'll hire local individuals to care for the trees. And so often in rural areas, you know, this is an opportunity for locals to then learn and tend to the trees by giving them new insights and a skill. Yeah. You know, I mean, forestry, arborists, that's a very real job. That pretty much every city everywhere has arborists, for sure. All right, so that's just a quick overview of the program. You're probably asking, yeah, but what do I do? What can I do? So if you're anything like me, I'm a busy mom. And as much as I wish I had all the time in the world to do citizen science projects, that can be a heck of a time commitment. I mean, iNaturalist is definitely more my pace because I can do it on my time. So the Canopy Project is a donation project, and they can generally plant one tree for every $1 donated.
Wow.
So, yeah, right? So you don't have to think like, oh, I don't have much, because a $5 donation is 5 trees, which that's really cool. Like $5 for 5 trees.
I mean, well, can you imagine, like, here in the United States, if I went to a nursery and bought 5 trees, I'm paying a lot more than $5.
Right? Way more. And it's not just a tree. That tree may be providing fruit for a village somewhere, or even provide shade to a dumb seagull. So you just never know the possibilities. And we all know how long trees can live. So your $5 donation could last 35 plus years or way longer than that. And I'm not sure if anything nowadays that costs $5 would last 35 years or more. There's no way. So that's always pretty neat too. Yeah. And so I try to do a lot of conservation and live a sustainable lifestyle, but sometimes I just need that, like, here, take my money person. And that's great because there are tons of nature nonprofits who would love a small donation or a large one. I think I mentioned this in one of the early episodes, that I sit on the board for the Great Plains Restoration Council. And I will tell you what, like, those small donations do add up quickly. So don't ever hesitate to donate to nature organizations if it's a little bit, because everybody's little bit quickly adds up. So it's definitely appreciated. So, you know, you might be able to do $5, but, you know, if you want to make a big impact, can you do $300 today? You know, that's 300 freaking trees. I wish I could do $300 and get my own forest. To me, that would be, right? That would be worth it. And also it's tax deductible since it's a nonprofit. So there's always that benefit too. So although this is like a quote unquote community project, you can rally up some close friends of yours, neighbors, tree hugging cousin, and get some others to donate with you. So $5 might not sound like a lot, but it does add up quickly. And especially if you keep adding, like you get your kid to go ask grandma, to go ask cousins, like, hey, I'm raising money to build a forest, it adds up quickly.
Yeah. And like, I this was just jogging my memory because I was just recently listening to a webinar talking about, native trees specifically and their impact. And at least around here where I am in Maryland and on the East Coast in general, oak trees are freaking powerhouse trees.
They are.
As far as, beneficial for people because of course, the shade and the benefits of the heat loss and things like that. And if you actually can make things out of acorns to eat yourself. But did you know that over 534 species of caterpillars rely on the oak?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
That's just caterpillars. And then they think that I'm pretty sure from my memory that it's something like 2,000 species utilize the oak, like in general, like deer, turkeys, birds.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So if you could plant one tree for $1 and that's an oak, you are helping thousands of species.
Yeah. Goodness. $5, that's just nuts. So definitely, gather around, see if you can have, put out a thing on social media and tag us. Like if you decide to do something like this, tag us. We are all
totally.
for.
I'll throw a couple bucks.
Yeah. See, there we go, Laura. I will combine your $2 for $4. No, we'll just
I will not match what you do because if you do something like 100, I'm not doing it. But I will contribute a few dollars if you start a project.
See. Okay, so. Start it, call people, let us know if you do it. And yeah, just let us know because again, small amounts add up quickly. It's amazing what it can do. And
not even just donations, but in general, what we're talking about here today, your actions, your everyday small actions do make a difference when it comes to restoring the earth. It's sure, are we going to make giant impacts like policy making and corporations? No, but every single action matters. And the more small ones we do together, the larger that impact will be.
Yeah, and joining together is the important part because if anything in this past year, especially from 2020 into 2021 has taught us that when people want change, we can band together to make a change. Yeah, and that is an insanely powerful thing that I think within the last year we're starting to see. So,
well, right. And if we're thinking, well, man, how can we do anything together? We can force companies and policy making and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, even your vote. I mean, look what happened now. Like we voted a president into the office that has a more sustainable plan. And look at all the things. I mean, all the good direction that you're going. If you want something to invest your money in, if anybody out there is into investing, like my oddball husband is, who like spends all of his time researching and like, it was not Robinhood, but it's something like that. But it's like the green infrastructure, like that is going to be taking off.
Solar's really taking off.
Because, it's wind, it's everything. It's electronic vehicles. We're finally moving in the right direction. And it's because people are banding together and letting their voices be heard.
And demanding the change. Yeah.
It really is. And so we just have to keep pushing forward and helping with citizen science projects like this, donating to things like this. Nothing speaks louder than your time and your money to show people and governments what is important to us.
Amen. Man, I didn't even think about, we did choose the most two important things, time and money.
Yeah, right? Because it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. But yeah, so definitely let us know. Even if it's something small where you're just like, I don't know, coloring a picture with your kid. If you want to color
or do
a picture.
Social media, just a cool social media post, anything. Tag us. We will help love and spread that content.
Definitely. Alrighty. So I think that's everything. I hate to end Earth Day podcast episode, but we release this first thing in the morning. So hopefully you've heard this right as we release it in the morning, and then you can spend the rest of your day searching iNaturalist, downloading it, going crazy on it, and then finding ways that you can help. But again, it's a big, big problem to solve, but each of us have a huge part in fixing it and making a change for the future. So if you can do it one thing, just start by making a positive impact today. Just pick one small thing that you can do today, and I promise you won't regret it, especially something like iNaturalist, donating to Canopy Force. You will not regret either of those choices.
Yeah.
All right,
well, thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and we will see you after our break. But definitely keep your eyes posted on our social media and look for a possible mid-episode break or mid-break episode.
All right, everybody. See you next season.
See ya. Thank you.